Okay. Testing 1, 2, testing ABCD. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi sanmyao sanputoshe. Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi sanmyao sanputoshe. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even through billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。Venerable Master, Dhamma friends, welcome to our sutra lecture tonight. Glad you are here. We are going to take just another moment here to get ourselves all prepared. we would like to respectfully acknowledge the Kombumerri people of the Ugambi language region as the traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就说我们恭敬地承认以冈比语族的孔布玛丽人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Okay, let's see now. The bells sound wide, resound throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众上传3000劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他们后德。Okay, welcome everyone. Good evening. My name is Hung Shi. Tonight is May 8th, Friday night here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. It's a Thursday night back in California. We have been bowing the Emperor Liang repentance every day this week, and we've reached the end of our series. We'll conclude Merit and Virtue tomorrow, and tonight is my last opportunity to share with you something that we have never tried before, and this is, we've been really happy with the results of this discovery, which is, I have in my past as a young monk, I have an experience of a pilgrimage, and one of the instructions in the pilgrimage was to write every day, keep a journal. So we journaled, and the result of the journal has been published now in 9 English volumes and 1 volume of letters, and we're working on volume 10. And we've been reading from volume 10, which has not been published, volume 10 of the journals. It was the result of a practice called 3 steps, 1 bow, which is every third step along the road, I and my companion bowed to the ground, full prostration, and recited the name of the Avatamsaka Sutra, and recited a verse from that sutra, which is a repentance. The repentance is the verse of Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, who is the Huayan Chan Zhu, Chan Hui de Zhu Ren. He is the confessor monk of the Avatamsaka. His name is Samantabhadra. And he says, for all the harmful things I've done with my body, speech, and mind, from beginningless greed, anger, and stupidity through lifetimes without number, to this very day, I now repent and renew. I vow to renew. I vow to change entirely. So we did that with every bow, and the instructions were to take this 2.5 years of repentance bowing. We've been doing it for a week here. We did it for 2.5 years. Without break and without going indoors. We stayed outside for the entire time, living at night in a 1956 Plymouth station wagon. I had a vow of silence. Oh, this is dying on me. Let's see. It cuts out at funny times. I wonder why. Let's see. It says it's full.
Yeah, I think it's.
Okay, need to do that? Okay, there you go. So, this vow of silence contributed to a lot of internal dialogue. The other monk, my companion, Dharma protector Hung Chao, he was a talker, and he could drive our Plymouth wagon and respond to situations, while my job was to be silent and to bow. So, this week we have been bringing out this unpublished journal volume and reading some of the stories. And Master Hua insisted that we keep our experiences that we met on the highway connected to the Avatamsaka Sutra that we studied at night. At night I would read the sutra and read the Chinese and translate it on the spot into English. And that wasn't considered talking. We didn't talk about it. I just read the sutra, that was all. The point being that every now and then, the sutra that we read at night completely explained the experiences that we met during the day. It was a remarkable illumination of the sutra by the world, and pretty soon we found that we felt as if we were bowing through the sutra, as well as bowing along Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway, the furthest western edge of North America, from South Pasadena in Los Angeles all the way to Ukiah. So let's get into it. One of the realities that I've been discovering as I'm telling these stories is these stories are not polished. They are not complimentary to me in any way. In fact, they're pretty deeply embarrassing when you see the amount of greed, anger, and delusion, pride, and doubt, and attachment, and false thinking that somebody is capable of when they're bowing, because the bowing brings it up, and then the journals write it down. So one of the things that I have, one of the things that Master Hua taught me about clearly and repeatedly, and with us, he had a way of putting his thumb into the wound, right where it hurts, so you could put full effort into recognizing and changing habits and faults. There are 5 desires: wealth, sex, fame, food, and physical comfort or sleep. Cai, Shai, Ming, Shi, Shui, they're called. And Ming, the third one, is, we say, the desire for fame. It's deeper, it's Ming in Chinese. It has many ramifications, such as just our, bless his heart, our current president needs attention. He is an attention hog. If he's not in the news every single day, he feels he's dying. So that's one manifestation of Ming. It's need for clinging to self. Just so Ming can be the sense of, I really do exist. It's name, fame, that kind of thing. In my case, I had no awareness when I began my career as a monk that this was part of my makeup as well, that I had a love of fame, of being noticed. It may be that put me on stage, made me a performer, because I was in theater and all. It's hard to know where it arose. Anyway, Shifu taught me a lot about this need to put the self forward so that people notice. This I had no idea. So that's the foundation of tonight's story. Here it is, February 21st. We here, I want to show you something. When we left Los Angeles, we had a letter that we showed to each of the various police and sheriffs and highway patrol posts that we encountered. Let's see, it will be here. I want to show you. The letter said, these monks are making a pilgrimage for world peace turn right to it. Here it is. We showed this letter to every time we came into a new precinct, press release. 2 American Buddhist pilgrims. 2 American Buddhist monks from San Francisco's Gold Mountain Monastery are making a bowing pilgrimage from Gold Wheel Temple in LA to the city of 10,000 Buddhas near Kaya. Heng Shi has made the vow to bow to the ground in a full prostration every 3 steps along the road. Heng Chao has vowed to accompany him on the journey, to protect him and to assist in the work. You see, this is Jinshan Si Wenjin, right? Our stationery. The monks began their pilgrimage May 7th at Gold Wheel Temple, the LA branch of the Sino-American Buddhist Association, before we became the Dharma Realm. They expect the journey will require 2.5 years. Their destination is our new Center for World Buddhism, City of 10,000 Buddhas. We vow to get rid of our own greed, anger, and stupidity and work to prevent disasters, wars, and sufferings of all kinds, said Heng Chao. The monks are dedicating their prayers to all beings everywhere. Our job is to recognize our own faults and not be ashamed to face them. By repenting and changing towards the good, we hope to repay the kindness of our parents and teachers, stated the monk. If we can be good, the world will be that much better. If our bowing is sincere, said Heng Shi, then calamities and suffering will be reduced. Wars and destructive weapons will gradually disappear. They added, our only wish is that all beings everywhere will obtain the peace and happiness they seek. Okay, so this was the letter, and we showed it to every new district, every new police group, every new highway patrol and sheriffs. We showed them the letter, and the letter, bit by bit, each one of the police groups would stamp it with the official stamp that was their, that they used, kind of their tuzhang, you could say. And by the time we got to San Francisco and beyond, we had a collection from Monterey, Half Moon Bay, Sacramento, Marin County, Pacifica, Golden Gate National Recreation Area, Ukiah, Santa Rosa. This is the back. The front was Santa Rosa, Santa Barbara, Carpinteria, Morro Bay, Malibu. This one written by hand, bicycle route. San Luis Obispo, right? So they all stamped it. And so it became our passport. We still have that letter. And it's a real artifact because the police became our best Dharma protectors. They, one story, not in this journal. Bowing through Los Angeles, we went through, we were on Wilshire Boulevard, a place called Beverly Hills, which is where, millionaires and billionaires live. And because we were traveling a mile a day, it took us a month to get from South Pasadena to Santa Monica, which is the end of Wilshire Boulevard, where Highway 1 picks up. So on a Sunday morning, we were meditating in the Plymouth. It was about 6 a.m., and we had parked on a side street near a golf course, close to where all the mansions, where all the fancy billionaires live. And we heard behind our car, we heard, "All right, get out of the car, put your hands on the hood, spread your legs, do it now." And so we're like, oh no, so we undo our legs and get out, and then we hear, oh, it's you guys. Oh, sorry, okay. And Officer Johnson and Officer Lubbock get out of their car and come over with their thumbs in their belts and, "Hey, we've been waiting for an opportunity to talk to you guys. Is it okay to talk?" And Marty says, I talk. He doesn't. He takes a vow of silence. He said, yeah, we've been, we picked you up 2 weeks ago back in Santa Monica, in Pasadena. He said, you guys, he said, the arts, right? And yeah, we do Tai Chi. Yeah, oh, Tai Chi, that's a soft one. Yeah, and you do this, you don't eat meat, right? And you still get out and do this every day? He says, that's amazing. That's just, we don't know how you could keep it up. That's amazing. And so, how do you tell us? What's the secret? And so Marty says, well, he says, one of our, it's not really a secret. He said, we don't kill, we don't steal, no sexual misconduct, we're celibate, no lying, and no intoxicants. And Officer Johnson goes, wait a minute. He says, tell me that list again. He says, no killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lies, and no intoxicants of any kind? Yeah, that's right. So Lubbock says, wow, the people we meet every day, if they lived that way, we'd be out of a job. He said, most of the problems that we run into has to do with those 5. That's amazing. And so he says, well, how do you keep your motive going? And how do you keep inspired? Marty says, actually, he said, we feel like we're doing the same work that you're doing. He said, what are you talking about? You're monks, we're cops. He says, well, he said, the only difference is we deal with the problems when they're still this big. He says, it's just a thought in the mind. The police have to deal with it like putting a Band-Aid on a cancer. The Band-Aid's not going to heal the cancer. The sickness is already there. He says, isn't it the truth? Isn't it the truth? So it's like putting a Band-Aid on a cancer to try to be a police officer, protect and serve. So the police were our best Dharma protectors from start to finish. And there were 3 levels in California. There's the highway patrol, they take care of the highways. There's the local sheriffs, which have a different job, and then there's the local police, who are the real nitty-gritty. So when we got to San Francisco, we were very excited. And I want to point out that letter did not have a stamp from San Francisco. Why not? We drove to San Francisco's Hall of Justice for police certification of our trip. Also, to check the route and any special laws the way we've done in every city on our trip. And because Gold Mountain Monastery is in San Francisco, in the Mission District, the oldest part of the city, I lived there for 3 years. I figured, wow, I'm back home. Maybe the mayor will come out and greet us like he did at Pacifica and Half Moon Bay. San Francisco is our old turf. I felt a thrill riding the elevator to the police chief's suite. We took time off bowing to go get our letters stamped. Maybe I would see an acquaintance in government from my past days and I would get to say hello. The police public relations captain came out of his office, took a look at us, and his toothy welcoming smile froze stiff. Our letter of transit and request in his hand looked like a ticking bomb. He handed it back without a second glance. I won't sign your permit papers. There's no need for our stamp. You won't be on the streets 1 minute longer than necessary to pass right through anyway, right? He said, making no effort to disguise his dislike and mistrust. He said, there's no need to sign anything. You're protected by the Constitution's guarantee of religious freedom, he continued. I'm sure you gentlemen will be out of the city of San Francisco faster than a bunny can shake his tail, won't you? Christian. Didn't welcome the Buddhists. Evangelical. Man, that was a cold shoulder, a brush off. I wanted a hero's welcome, and we got the bum's rush, meaning I felt crushed and slighted. My ears and face flamed red on the elevator back to the lobby. How can a man of conscience invoke the name of a compassionate Catholic saint, St. Francis, San Francisco, the city of St. Francis, to threaten and abuse religious pilgrims? Complained my hurt ego in my mind. I defended myself, thinking, how glad I am not to be a slave to bureaucracy, like that public relations man who smiles with his teeth while offing us, while killing us in his heart. Boy, that slap stung. What happened? We've never been treated like this. I guess I expected having a desire for fame, a welcome home reception with press and red ribbons. Everything you meet up with is a creation of your own mind. Your false thoughts are the source of all your troubles. Purify your mind and you will have no problems, said Master Hua when we told him what happened. Everything you meet up with is a creation of your own mind. Your false thoughts are the source of all your troubles. Purify your mind and you will have no problems, said Shifu. So, I got the bum's rush at City Hall. What happened? Not sure, but it's got everything to do with my attitude. San Francisco is home turf. I'd been counting on a hero's welcome. Seeking fame and headlines are the enforcers, are the conquerors of evil Dharma glory boys instead of wholesome Dharma cultivators. I'm sure you'll be out of the city of St. Francis faster than a bunny can shake his tail, won't you? Said the police captain press liaison. I won't sign your permit papers. There's no need for our stamp. You won't be on the streets 1 minute longer than necessary to pass right through anyway, right? So I went climbing to the top of the Hall of Justice, just as like I used to do when I was a worldly socialite. I was into student politics. I forgot to cultivate. I sent out my light seeking praise. No wonder my face turned red when I got rebuffed. False thoughts turn the mind around. Okay, I scratched that out. I caught a cold blast of the opposite wind. What did the Buddha teach about worldly winds? Ba feng cui bu dong, right? 8 kinds in pairs, all able to blow a cultivator off his pins. Gain and loss, right? De, shi, glory and defamation. Rong and ru, right? Praise and criticism. Zan and hui, I think, ba feng. Suffering and bliss, ku le. Like the flip side of a coin, seeking fame brings slander. Courting power leaves the heart feeling dusty, common, turbid, and stripped of self-respect. So I wrote a verse. Fame is the wind that blows the dirt around. Power is an echo on a crowded, dusty street. To climb the social ladder, you have to leave the Tao. Then the winds of praise and slander blow you off your feet. So, how about that? Not what I expected, not what I wanted. The next day, so we did not get our stamp in San Francisco. Every other city, without even asking for it, the police are like, oh, for sure. You know. Driving back to our rainy campsite, I was chastising myself. Being straight and stupid is the way. 直心是道. Cleverness and climbing are not a bhikshu's share. The sincere heart nurtures the truth. I am not a worldly fame seeker anymore. I live within the Buddha Dharma. Any thought is a climbing thought. Any action to benefit the self is off the mark and leaves the Tao behind. 不为自身求利益，欲令一切悉安乐。未曾站起喜论心，但观诸法空无我。They do not seek benefit for themselves, but only to make other beings completely peaceful and happy. They never for an instant indulge in sophistry, but only contemplate all dharmas as empty and free of self. 10 transferences. I repented for seeking fame at City Hall, and then I let it go and went back to work. Promised to really practice having no thoughts of self and to give away my afflictions and guilt. We stopped at the Golden Gate National Recreation District headquarters, GGNRR. They're in charge of Alcatraz, the island. They're in charge of the bridges. They're in charge of all of the parks, Golden Gate Park and all. They have a big job spread out. These are the rangers, the park rangers in the city. On the chance, we stopped in at the GNRR district headquarters on the chance that the park rangers might have a route or a map through the Bay Bridge. We've been watching your progress along Skyline for some time now, said Mickey, the supervisor, a smiling, ruddy-faced Irishman. He had bright red hair, about this tall. He was a boss. We think what you're doing is admirable. You'll be in our district all the way to the Marin Coast, Point Reyes and beyond. I travel the area frequently, and I plan to alert our counterparts in Sonoma and Mendocino. They will look after you and assist you any way they can, Mickey cheerfully said. My partner told me he was driving out of town for a ski vacation, and he saw you bowing on Skyline. Then he saw you on his way back home Sunday night, 3 miles up the road after his ski vacation at Tahoe. He said he felt ashamed of his selfishness and lack of discipline. It really made him take a close look at his life. He had been playing that weekend. He skied, he got drunk, he lost his temper, he lost his paycheck in the Tahoe slot machines. They have casinos at Lake Tahoe. He came back home feeling miserable, hungover, and bummed out. He actually had a fight with his girlfriend, and they separated, so he lost everything. And he crashed his car to boot. But when he saw you Buddhists stepping and bowing along the gutter in the face of commuter traffic, looking calm and mellow as if nothing had changed, he completely forgot his headache and his blues. It made him see his weekend fling in a brand new light. Kinda shook him up, Mickey continued, made him want to look into what's really important. So anyway, we'll be watching out for you. Our ranger cars are green and have the National Recreation seal on the door. Anything you need, let us know, he said. We came out of the park office to see the first blue sky in 5 days. So, now this is Mickey telling us the story. Later on that week, what did he say? Was it somebody who works in his office? His partner? Yeah, my partner, also one of the chief park rangers. So this guy himself pulled his car over. He says, he said, I was with we had a double date. I had my fiance and another couple in the back of my station wagon. We had skis. The trunk was full of alcohol. We were going to have a real weekend. And he said, when I saw you, the two of you, on a Friday evening, you were bowing, he said, I just felt like maybe I would help the world if I ran you over. I could just turn the wheel and take you out on the curb, and that would help everybody. He said, we talked about you halfway up there. We said, what a bunch of losers, how evil, what do they think they're doing? What a waste of a life, you know. And he said, but strange, it was a cursed vacation. Everything went wrong. He said he lost his ski bindings, and he drank too much, had a fight with his buddy, broke a tooth. His girlfriend broke up with him, and to make himself feel better, he went to the casino and lost all his money. And he came back hungover, broke, alone, and regretful. He said, and then I saw you guys again, and you were like 3 miles further north, and you looked different. He said, you look so peaceful. And I compared what you were doing, the weekend that you had had, compared to the weekend that I had had. And he said, I really felt ashamed of myself, that I had projected all that onto you. So that was the Golden Gate recreation. Okay, outside the window at lunchtime, Hung Chao witnessed in the car beside us, quote, the most demonic, perverted, defiled sexual act I've ever heard of, he said. I didn't notice, but we're now in San Francisco, and we pulled off on the Great Highway to get lunch, and I couldn't see where I was sitting. He was facing the car beside him. 2 people were doing something that he called demonic and perverted. It upset him, and Marty is a married man before. He married briefly and didn't stay married. I didn't notice. I only saw him turn white as a sheet halfway through the meal and looked deeply disturbed the rest of the day. Marty's spirit actually took a dive. Something that he had seen happening in the car beside him shocked and injured his faith in people. So we're still on, let's see. Here is the Great Highway. That is the Pacific Ocean. This is called the Sunset District. Here's Golden Gate Park. Here's the Golden Gate Bridge, right there. That's the Golden Gate Bridge. Here's the Pacific Ocean. Here's the San Francisco Bay. There's Alcatraz right there. So along this long, let's go down here. San Francisco is this long peninsula. Here we are, and we have now made it up here, and it's very unsettled, because this is earthquake territory, certainly. Fort Funston, you can see the beaches here, right? Nike missile site. This is the Presidio, the major army base. And so we still did 1 mile a day, and 1 mile a day, 1 mile a day up here. And then we crossed over to 19th Avenue to here to get to the bridge. So it's called the Great Highway. And it's, here's the ocean. That's the Pacific Ocean. So this is the end of America. This is the absolute western border of our American continent. And it's a very, there's lots and lots of reflection that people come to as you know, here in the Gold Coast with our beaches, people come here and stare at the water. and think watery thoughts, right? So this passage was quite something. And so for days, we were bowing right on the sandy coast. Down the road another mile today, still on the same great highway beach lot. While doing the dishes, we had lunch. Marty would break out the camp stove, and people made offerings, and we would heat them up or pick plants off the highway and eat them and things. So then we would do the dishes, and I would start bowing again. We met a 70-year-old farmer from Iowa. This is a plain-spoken man. I'll let him speak for himself. He says, "You speak English? Oh, I thought so, by golly. I told the wife that you were regular fellas." Now, from my father's generation, that was the compliment. He's just a regular fella. He's a regular guy. Yeah. By golly. Say, I just wanted to know, oh, that's my camper, that big RV over there, this huge recreational vehicle. There's Esther in the window waving to you. That's his wife up there, and she's... Yeah. You probably never heard of it, but I come from Des Moines. Marty comes from Appleton, which is about 200 miles north. I'm from Toledo, 500 miles east. I'm on vacation from my farm. I made it all the way out to California, and I figured, by golly, I'd like to know what makes those two fellas tick. Are you Americans? Marty says, well, yeah, we're American Buddhist monks. We're making a bowing pilgrimage for world peace and an end to disasters, replied Hung Chau. Now, isn't that fine? More power to you. I thought Buddhism was an Asian religion, he said. Buddhism doesn't belong to any country. It's the teaching of all people and all living beings as well. Well, what do your families think of what you're doing? Asked the old man. That's my best Iowa accent, by the way. So, well, they're happy when we're happy, Hung Chau answered. Well, I can see that. Yes, sir, you two look fit as fiddles. Well, now I can say to my son and daughter back in Des Moines that I met two American Buddhist monks. Who would think of that? Guess you learn something new every day. Do all Buddhists bow on the highway? Well, Buddhists teach school, translate the canon, instruct on meditation, operate and administer monasteries, hospitals, meditation retreats. We share the same rules. No killing, no stealing, sexual misconduct, no lying, no intoxicants. But otherwise, our work can be as different as the rainbow. You don't say. Well, I declare. Ha, ha, ha. Well, that's really something. Yes, sir. He said, you shake hands? I'm proud to meet you. He said. As the bhikshu and the farmer shook hands, I saw that Hung Chau's gloom cloud had dispersed. The wholesome, homespun Midwestern talk was music to our ears. Just knowing that the world contains good, decent, earthy folks with proper views neutralized the poison of the crooked scene that he had witnessed earlier. They enabled the worried and suffering to all become happy. Moreover, they used expedient means to exhort and guide them, causing them to leave that which is evil and to abide securely within good dharmas. 入法界品，有苦者先使快乐，复以方便而劝导之，解令舍恶，安住善法。入法界品。He was a farmer from Iowa, but he spoke the perfect expedient to allow us to forget about the evil dharmas. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. This particular story is about how the mind goes crazy. I'm sure many of you while bowing this week had some similar experience, which is instead of using wisdom and being still, my mind wants to hang on to control, so it throws me these insane, crazy thoughts. So I'm bowing along. What was the name of Cousin Pam's cat? My mind wants to know, oh, you heard it once, you should recall. And off goes my computer searching uncontrollably through data banks. Topeka. My mind goes quiet, right? Oh, let's see. Who wrote the poem 13 Ways of Looking at a Blackbird? Wallace Stevens. What are the islands off the Marin Coast? The Farallones. Who played left field for the 1962 Yankees? It was Hector Lopez, right? My mind just goes crazy thinking of all these things. Who wore the baggy red trousers and fought for the Confederacy in the Civil War? The Louisiana Zouaves. Name the suburbs of Detroit. A dozen. I can name a dozen suburbs of Detroit. What are the Ivy League and Seven Sisters School? Oh, let's see. There's Harvard, there's Yale, there's Columbia, there's Princeton. Harvard, Yale, Columbia, Princeton, Brown, Penn, Dartmouth, and Cornell. How about that? Was 8. Okay. So, crazy. Why does your mind do that? And then the Seven Sisters. Mount Holyoke, Bryn Mawr, Swarthmore. Okay. Ultimate point. Feels like the end of the end. We're perched on the southwestern corner of the last American city westward, the farthest possible extreme of a country where a country that gathers the farthest possible extremes. It's been raining for 2 weeks. We're concentrating hard on not socializing between us and not responding to familiar sights and sounds at every turn of the road through our old home territory. Now, I need to say that periodically trying to compensate for what we saw happening naturally as we bowed, Marty and I, Hung Chao and I, would try to cultivate ourselves doing opposites and often went wrong. We often went to extremes. So we said to ourselves, having been smacked in the face by the police public relations officer and shown that I came into the San Francisco area thinking that I thought my old classmates from Berkeley would come across and cheer me on, And so this was really, really false thinking. So we said, okay, we have to not socialize at all between the two of us. We have to cut off all contact between the two of us so we can stay in this. And it was too much. It wasn't natural again. It was false thinking, only an extreme. So we found ourselves on the extreme, going to extremes, right? So we are concentrating hard on not socializing between us and not responding to the familiar sights and sounds at every turn of the road through our old home territory. The weather and the extremes blend into a dizzying fantasy. It seems like only yesterday we were bowing between sheer mountain cliffs and endless whitecaps down south. Today, the scenery includes the San Francisco Zoo, Leon's hot links, ribs and pie, the Irish Cultural Center, and the It's It ice cream treat factory. Everybody know what It's Its are? The San Francisco treat? None of you are San Franciscans? It's an ice cream sandwich. Just so you know, It's Its. This is a San Francisco icon. It's It. ITSIT. It's It Ice Cream. Let's do it again here. Here it is. There it is. It's an ice cream sandwich called It's It. Like that. Here's the history. This was created in 1928, and we bowed. That was the original. We bowed right by the plant because it was out on the great highway. There it is. It's It. Shop online. Here we go. All products. The traditional one. See the logo up here. That's the traditional. Yeah, look like this. They were really good. I mean, kids grew up loving these. They can ship or order to you. This is how it was packaged, like this. Yeah. Now, I'm not suggesting that somebody mail order them for GCDR. Don't 不要听错了，我并不是 so, you know. Okay, It's It, they're called. It's It. So we bowed past It's It. They vow that living beings hear the Dharma, penetrate to its ultimate point, and according to what they learn, follow along in harmony and proclaim it themselves. 愿一切众生听闻佛法，通达究竟，如其所闻，随顺演说，是会上品。 What we've learned, good feelings, ease, and comfort don't make us happy. Hardship and obstacles precede penetration through. Superficials, once penetrated, reveal understanding of deep principles below the surface, where we can patiently wait out the extremes and cling to the center. This is going to be hard to translate for our translator. Extremes are tasty, sensational, but the middle way is flavorless and your own, I would say. But it survives. It is unchanging, eternally true, safe and solid. That's wisdom. Extremes are tasty. They stimulate. Oh, I didn't feel that before. But they don't last. The middle way that's truly yours in the mind has no flavor, but it survives because it never changes. It's eternally true and safe and solid. Worldly extremes come and go. We have reached the bottom of our food box: rice, dried fruit, and a can of green beans for lunch. Lunch was 白饭, 葡萄干, and 罐头, green beans, right? 绿豆. It's not tasty, but it makes perfect cultivation fuel because it's simple fare. It doesn't increase desire. Look at how unfancy is white rice, dried fruit, and green beans in a can, right? But it's simple and there's no desire thoughts. Weather extremes turn and flow. We bowed under water all morning, miserable, cold, and wet. I watched my reflection in puddles as the bubbles floated past my nose. You bow down in a water puddle and the bubbles. So, proclaiming the Dharma, we understand for our own ears. At the ultimate point, an ending becomes a brand new beginning. We went to Asia. We'd already been to Malaysia and come back already. That was months before. 师父, how can monks and nuns wear their precept sash and yet spend their time making fortunes, doing business, and fighting to build the tallest temple and competing for the fanciest gourmet food? 师父 said, it's often the case that the body has left home, but the mind has not yet left home. We saw the Dharma's decay in my own mind and returned the light to look within. 师父, how can this young bhikshu call himself a cultivator and yet spend his pilgrimage watching traffic, smelling incense, and thinking about food? 师父's answer, It's the case that my body is bowing to the Buddhas, but my mind is not yet bowing to the Buddhas. Okay, one more time. The Great Highway Incense Daydream. Rufa Jiepin has a story of an incense maker, 做香的一个匠. He says to Sudana, "Good man, the shores of Lake Anavatapta produce a chunshui xiang, sinking in water incense called lotus flower treasury. When a piece of that incense the size of a sesame seed is lit, its perfume universally pervades the realm of Jambudvipa. Those living beings who smell it will leave all offenses, and their precepts will be purified." So what I'm writing about here is my experience in Japan. When I lived in Kyoto, in a Japanese Soto Zen monastery. Underneath the flap, I didn't lift the flap, okay. A man and his son lit sticks of incense along the jogging path where we bowed. We bowed on the sandy track amid clouds of incense, so they welcomed us with lit sticks of incense in the grass. The fragrance filled space and popped open a door to my memory bank. I smelled the very same incense 10 years ago in a Zen temple in Kyoto, Japan. I sat 5 hours of half-lotus meditation every day, intense leg pain. My legs hurt so much that I took a Darvan pain pill during a week-long sesshin, dachi. We lived outdoors and felt lonely. I didn't speak Japanese. To endure the loneliness and the daily painful sitting in the zendo, I coped by overeating. I supplemented the 3 daily vegetarian meals and tea break by running down the hill to the local family panya, the grocery store, for a loaf of raisin bread. I would buy raisin bread, and then coming back up the hill, I would stuff as much of it in my mouth as I could before I got back to Antaiji. I gained 20 pounds in 1 month. I had constant diarrhea, and I was happy as a pig in turnips. I outflowed like a colander because I coped externally with the pain. Why was this the case? It's because I had no precepts. In Japan, they didn't talk about precepts. Meditation increased the light, silently gathered chi energy, but without precepts and self-discipline, the inner light leaked out as fast as it accumulated. I took long ofuro baths at night and long mountain walks, scattering my energy out my eyes, ears, and tongue. I played a tin whistle and enjoyed the delight of a heavenly Tianren Deva existence, mistaking outflowing for cultivation. Came back to the States, smelled the same incense fragrance in a college apartment, involved in self-destructive habits, sexual misconduct, rebellious behavior, intoxicants. Blessings, let's see here. I entered the monastery, blessings nearly exhausted. I entered the monastery and met this incense once more. This time it marked a turning. I found a teacher, the Buddhist precepts, and a cultivation path within the proper Dharma. Forging a solid vessel now, discovering how precepts naturally repair the harm I did myself during those reckless years. The perfume of precepts permeates cultivators and lets them enter a high heat foundry, smelting out bubbles and cracks in the raw material of body and mind. Gradually we refine our lives and leave the filth of defiled attachments. Good man, the snow mountains have an incense called Aruna. If living beings smell this incense, their minds will decisively leave all defiled attachments. I will speak Dharma for them, and all of them will, without exception, attain the leaving filth samadhi, li go sanmei. The man bowed respectfully. His son bowed at his side, watching Dad and imitating his solemn air with a child's rapt concentration. Maybe when he grows up and smells this incense, he'll recall the day he offered fragrance to bhikshus on San Francisco's Great Highway. Okay, that's our time. We got in a bunch of good stories. We may continue this method. This is a good one. I haven't touched those for many, many years, and it's good to remember. Okay, well, what a week of bowing we've had. The weather turned cold just now. And it's good to bundle up. I hope over at 102 you have enough blankets to stay warm over there? Okay, you're not just saying that, right? You're enough. You got a sleeping bag, okay. 躺子够了哈，不会挨冻啊，那里那边因为阴阴的，等到9点才看到太阳过来，所以早上那个冷气出来了。All right, well, thank you for the invitation to come over and share with all of you. I've been enjoying it, and look forward to our chance to see each of you again. We may be able to make it back to KL next year, I hope, to Dongbian if we get invited. We have to wait for the invitation. Please tell Hang Tai Shi she has to invite me. I don't invite myself, okay? So this year she did, so we were able to come. That was nice. Do you all know about our Sunday Sutra lecture? So tomorrow, 明天下午还在拜吗? Okay, so we have, when you're not bowing the repentance, we have Xu Yin Lao Heshang Hua Zhuang, the picture biography of Master Empty Cloud. We don't have many episodes left, but we will probably change. We might even change to this format. Don't know what. It's possible we could do more of these stories if people are interested. But it's these lectures here. 虚脑和尚化传 every Saturday, 12:30 our time, 10:30 KL Singapore time, and you can see that on Zoom. For the real hardcore people, we have the Avatamsaka Sutra every Sunday, which is aimed at Saturday 7:30 California time. So it comes here as 12:30 in the afternoon or 1:30. 大方广佛华严经, it's here somewhere, I'm sure. What's that? Okay. So there's that, and then on Monday morning, 12:30 here or 1:30, 10:30 KL time, I lecture on the Shi Hui Xiangping, the Avatamsaka Sutra, for City of 10,000 Buddhas, Sunday night. So there are 3 different lectures that people are welcome to take part in. Let's see here. Where did that go? Maybe it was here. One more time. Here we go. You need to actually make a wish to send out the merit to make it work. Make a wish wherever you would like your merit and virtue to benefit the world. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our hearts awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and may this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Oops. Alrighty. I've got a yin qing tonight. Make 3 bows. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Okay, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks, everybody. See you all next time. Amitofo.